Okay, we had a little problem. I thought perhaps the switch is going up, but it sounds pretty good. It's not always, but that's usually an indicator it's pretty good. The wires aren't burnt. But this has the brass heating element, and it does have the, look, the old school thermal fuse. I had a new switch ready to go. I had my favorite fuse, but this one does not use this, but it has one of these. They're pretty inexpensive and not necessarily hard to put in, but they're kind of one of the original little thermal fuses here. And this one, this heating element, has a little tube it goes into. Some of them get tucked under, but this is the classic with the tube that goes into. Unlike some of them have the one that's glued in, but that's in, I believe, a shorter tube than this. But this has a little tube that goes in the heating element. And so we're going to pull that out because what I believe happened was this went off. This looks like maybe one of the old original because it still has all this on it. So I don't think I've ever replaced this. So let's see. We're going to see what's going on here with it. And I wonder how we can pull this apart without perhaps being too rugged, but I think we can. Let's see here. We're going to do this live, just how it happens. Well, it's on there pretty good, so maybe we won't cut this off. I hate to, but we may have to remodify it. Okay, it's going to get some other tools, and we're going to get this thing off somehow. Okay, maybe it's the simple is the best. There we go. We can just pull that apart and it popped off rather than pulling it. And so it's ready to go back on. It looks, it has a little mark there, but oh, this is a continuous tube, so the outlet must be right in there. We're going to pop this off with a little mini flathead. That's simple enough. Well, it's nice to have one of these connectors sometimes because then you can do this. And we'll pull that out. And let's see. Be nice to get this off in one. Yeah, there we go. All right, there it is. So we're pretty sure that this went right here. There it is. This one is, yeah, it's put in pretty good. A little different. We're going to cut this baby out and we're going to put this brand new one in. So we're going to see how that goes. That's it. A little crimping. Guess we'll cut the wire and just so this crimped onto these. As we can see, it crimped onto these back here. So we may have to strip that wire level. I can probably leave that crimp on there and just adapt right onto it too. I guess I could do it that way. There's a couple ways to do, but I think on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do my own little crimps right in. Well, it shouldn't be hard. Let's just go ahead and cut this. I usually don't like to show wiring because I'm not an electrician, and there's a lot of people better than in this stuff. So you really necessarily shouldn't do this the way I do it. But we'll just expose that so we have our wire ready to go. And let's do the other side here. It's so fun to work on these things, is there? That's part of the whole fun part of everything is they're just fun to work on. And you can do it with, you know, simple tools. I've kind of collected some, but I've made some and things like that. But let's get that off of there too. There we go. Okay, now we have two edges. And we'll hope this is it. We'll find out pretty quick. Get this out. you've seen it before. It has these little adapters. Took me a couple times till I realized what they were. Anyhow, okay. So this one went this long way. Okay. So these are going to help us get these two together. We're going to crimp them. I'm going to slide both wires in. These are a little smaller than the other ones, so we'll go ahead and crimp these down. Squeeze that in a couple places. Right. There we go. Hopefully it's in there pretty good. It is. So now we'll do the other one. That's the way I'm doing it, is I'm just putting them in together and crimping them down. Let's get back out a little. And probably a professional crimper wouldn't like the way I'm doing this, but anyway, so that's in there. And I guess what we should probably do now before we replace everything is let's just hook this back up. I'm not going to completely run it and heat it up yet because I want to put that together, but the better part of valor may be just to test and make sure that was it, because we're pretty sure it was, but we're not 100% sure of that. So hang on, we're going to get this plugged in. Yeah, it has been plugged in. So let's just give her a little test. Oop. Hey, we got to turn on the breaker. Hang on. All right, we got her plugged in. We're going to be careful with the wires, and we're just going to, there we go. We got light on the switch again. So that's a success. So we'll go ahead and finish that. All these switches, the thing little flickers a little. It just bugs me. But anyway, voila. So let's go ahead and go to the next thing. I'm going to unplug it. Okay. Yes, unplugged. That's right. Everyone knows that. Yeah, there you go. You can go in the Etsy shop, click it, and get yourself one of these. I'm going to put a discount code for everybody down there, probably lot Pavoni ones, but I'll put it in the comments or something. But anyhow, so this is good. We found out it was the fuse. And let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing back together the way it was and feed this tube back in, which could be the hardest part, but we'll do it. If not, we'll just figure out a whole new system. Let's go ahead. These are the old original wires, still going good. The original tubing. Yeah, so far so good. Oop. Here's the tricky part. Let's see if we can get it to go by that fuse. Yeah, there we go. And will it continue on? Yeah. There's probably techniques that are better at doing this, somebody knows, but we're doing it this way and it's working so far. It's a little bit sticky right there, but let's see. Maybe I can get an edge of this working. There we go. See, little by little. Actually, sometimes it's easier, but yeah, there we go. I think by sliding it right over the fuse part where it's tightest makes it work easier than if you're doing this. But we're getting there. I'm sure you want to see the whole thing. A little tricky, but patience is going to pay off here. Now I can always remove this wire and redo it and put another little heat resistance on there, but I think we'll get this on. There we go. That's the technique. Okay, so hold it like this. Anyhow, yeah, that's going. So far the technique has been to push from the back a little bit. Maybe both at once. Not too hard, just enough. All right, I kind of changed my technique and I pushed this in so I got a little bubble, and then I got it all the way up. And then there's our little bit of wire from this end too. All right, so that worked out pretty good. So what we're going to do is go back. Yeah, we're in. So what we're going to have to do is, there it is. We're going to reinsert this. I think I have the right spot too. Let's make sure that the fuse is there, but as long as it's close. Let's see if I can do this part of it. There we go. That wasn't hard. All right, that's back in. And voila. Now we'll go ahead, reinsert our connector here. Handy dandy. I don't have fancy brand new tools. I've had this little flathead. It's a little rusty because of our environment, but you know, it works forever. So it's good. So there we go. Looks like we have it back together. And we're going to need to redo the bottom. The old fuse is replaced, but let's go ahead and we're going to do one more test just to make sure now that we have all the wiring in, everything's in there, that it is going to work. All right, plug back in. Yeah, there we go. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, this is an adapted bottom, and it's supposed to have the screw, but I don't have that one. I really had this just kind of wedged in there a little bit, which worked all right, but we're going to do another shoe exercise. What I think I'm going to do is drill a hole in here. I don't have the proper screw right at this moment, and I'm just going to adapt it that way. Originally, this was on another machine. I cut that off because it was in the way, and I didn't have the screw for it. So anyhow, we're going to make a little more adaptation on that, and that won't be hard. So let's go ahead and we're going to put this bottom back on. It'll be on there good enough. It's just, we're just going to set it down. We got the tab, but there we go. So let's set it up and we'll do a little test run on her now that we got the new fuse in. All right, there she is back on. Power on. The only thing I didn't put this is, I didn't think it was necessary, but really I was so excited to have it together, I forgot to put it on. But I didn't put this little rubber tip thing. I think it was fine the way it was because that's how my other ones are. But we'll sure find out if that's a mistake. And here we go. All right, here we go. There's good. Full speed. Tip it down to 1. No speed. All right. Let's go ahead, Dave. All right, success. How do you like it? And back in action.